welcome back to HJ Doctor Who. I know it's been a couple of weeks, sorry, there probably will be less frequent uploads for a little while on this channel, but there'll still be some, don't worry about it. Alright, we're back doing another ranking video because I don't really have any other videos ready to go for this channel just yet, so yeah, we're doing that. Sorry if the lighting's not too good, I'm going to start getting dark soon. I may have to put the light on halfway through, but anyway, let's go. Okay, so in this video we're going to be ranking the TARDIS Interiors. A couple of rules with this one: only the Doctor's TARDIS, so no TARDIS belonging to like the Rani or the Monk or the Master or anything like that. And only console rooms / interiors that were used on screen for like a full amount of time, so I'm not going to be counting like the junk TARDIS from the Doctor's wife or any alternate universe TARDISes or anything like that. So with all that in mind, there are 12 on this list that I'm going to be going over, and let's start from worst to best, shall we? Alright, number 12, we've got the 4th Doctor's TARDIS from season 13. This one was in Planet of Evil and Pyramids of Mars, I remember, off the top of my head. There might have been some others, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I'll try and throw a picture up on screen if I can find a decent one. Yeah, this one was like really basic. It was kind of like the prototype, the 80s TARDIS set. I mean, the TARDIS didn't change all that much throughout the classic run, barring a couple of occasions really. But yeah, honestly this one, I mean, you can probably see from the picture that I'm showing hopefully that it's just really basic. Yeah, it looks like a very boring TARDIS set, and yeah, that's what's number 12 on this list. Just doesn't look that great, does it? Number 11, we've got the 3rd Doctor's TARDIS, or TARDISes. We didn't often see the 3rd Doctor's TARDIS interior throughout his run, but when we did, it looked completely different every time. Yeah, I'm counting all of his versions of his TARDIS in one here. Yeah, he just never really had a good one, did he? I think we all know about the horrible looking Time Monster console room that most people agree just looks pretty awful. And yeah, there was a few others. The one from Colony in Space I'm not too big a fan of either, it's just a bit meh. The only one of his that I really like would be the one from the Claws of Axos, because I think it actually looks decent. Actually looks like a proper TARDIS, rather than just something the BBC threw together with about 50 quid's worth of budget in the corner of a studio. Although in all fairness, that pretty much sums up the majority of Classic Who's production, if I'm honest. Moving on. Number 10, we've got the War Doctor's TARDIS from Day of the Doctor. Yeah, this is a decent mix between the classic 80s console room and the Eccleston / Tennant console room. And I mean, it works well enough, but I just don't really find it all that interesting. It literally is just a mixture between two really good TARDIS console rooms. It works well, but I just never found it that interesting, to be honest. Number 9, we've got the 4th Doctor's secondary console room from season 14. This is the brown one with the stained glass windows and whatnot. Some people kind of like it. I don't know. It's alright. I really didn't like it when I first saw it. I've kind of grown to like it a bit more now. Yeah, not really the best. I mean, it looks quite good. It looks really nice, but it's just, I think it's mainly the console itself, actually. I think it just looks really bland, and there's nothing on there. It's just some buttons behind these little cabinet doors, and it's just naff. There isn't even a time rotor on it. The console's really what lets this one down. Although this was the first time that they had the big, massive sliding scanner screen with the like lens thing over the front, which became pretty much a staple for the rest of the classic series after this point onwards. So that's a good plus with it. Number 8, we got the grey console room from seasons 15 through to 19. This was the one that came directly after the previous one I just mentioned. Yeah, this is pretty much the like really famous iconic Classic Who console room. This and another variant. Yeah, this is the first version of that one. So yeah, this one's a little bit more basic, slightly duller I'd say than one of the ones that's higher up on this list that is another variation of this one. But it still looks pretty good, and the console is a little bit dull in terms of its controls, and it's, yeah, not a whole lot to say about it other than that. It is quite similar to another one that will be on this list in a couple of minutes, but yeah, that one's going in at number 8. Number 7, we've got the Crystal TARDIS, which is the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, so yeah, the current one. I actually quite like this one. It's pretty middle of the road actually on this list. Yeah, number 7 out of 12 is just over the halfway point. This one's got kind of mixed opinions, I think. I feel like more people aren't too keen on it than there are people that actually like it. I think it's alright. They definitely improved it in Series 12 by adding some extra like lighting to it and like the extra features they put around the edge, like the stairs that go into the door and whatnot. Yeah, it just looks really nice, I think. Obviously not the best. It's serviceable, it does its job. Wasn't too good in Series 11, but yeah, definitely improved in Series 12. And has the custard cream dispenser, so that's always a plus. Number 6, we've got the Coral TARDIS from series 1 to 4 of New Who, the first proper modern one that we ever saw. 9th and 10th Doctor's TARDIS. A lot of people have a lot of nostalgia and love for this one. A lot of people even put it as their best, actually. I'm going to have to disagree with that, obviously, because it's number 6 on this list, not number 1. Yeah, mainly because I just find it to be a bit, I don't want to say bland, but I mean, it's a great design. I love it, first one I ever saw, obviously. But I don't know, it's just, given that it's so iconic, we've seen it just too much by this point. I'm just completely burnt out on seeing 9 and 10's console room by this point, that's why it's not higher up. I did prefer it when they sort of upped the lighting on it a bit more. I didn't like it, like how dark it was in series 1 and 2. I preferred it a little later on. Some people say it got too overlit towards the end, but I think it's actually better that they lit it up more. Yeah, that'd be number 6 on the list. Oh yeah, sorry, I had to put the light on. It's starting to get a bit dark, I don't know if you noticed. Okay, number 5, we got the Neon TARDIS from series 7B through to 10, the second Matt Smith and the full Capaldi TARDIS. I'm putting both versions of this in the same place as well, although I think I do have a preference for the Capaldi one where you changed it to the orange lighting, added some more features to it. The one that Smith had for series 7B was also pretty good too, but yeah, I think generally most people, including me, prefer the orange version that came about with Capaldi. I actually came to love this one surprisingly a fair bit by the end of the Capaldi run. More so than I thought it would, because of the Matt Smith's first console room I thought was actually pretty good. But yeah, this one is going number 5. Number 4, we have the second grey console room from seasons 20 through 26. This is similar to the season 15 to 19 console room, except it looks a bit more polished, a bit more sleek. Is that a word? I have no idea. Yeah, the console on this one in particular looks a lot better. It's got a bit more colour to it. The controls are a lot more... Well, there's more controls, for starters. Yeah, the console itself looks a lot more lively and interesting, so that's probably why I like it, to be honest. The middle section as well I think is improved. It looks a bit better than what it did in the previous one before this as well. Number 3, Steampunk Copper TARDIS from series 5 through to 7A, Matt Smith's first one. Some people put this at the number 1 actually, and yeah, I really like it. It's a very interesting interior, to say the least. See, whereas 9 and 10's TARDIS before was like just one symmetrical round room with a console in the middle, door, presumably other doors off to somewhere else. That's the thing, we never actually saw an interior door that led off into any other part of the TARDIS in 9 and 10's episodes, did we? That's one minus point to that console room there. Yeah, whereas that was a pretty symmetrical room, just a circle room with the thing in, wasn't much to it. The 11th Doctor's first console room was just all over the place, completely asymmetrical. You got through the doors and then you got to go that way and up a little open area, and then you go up a walkway to the console room, and you got stairs going down, and you got some going up, one going round and down, it's bloody everywhere. But it also kind of brought back the classic, the 80s scanner screen as well, being on the wall, and like a really big screen, like a big round one over by the main doors as well. That's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, yeah, I really like this one. Got a lot of good nostalgia of this one in particular because of the Matt Smith era as well, so that might have something to do with it, but make about what you will. Alright, number 2, we got the first and second Doctor's TARDIS, or in other words, the original TARDIS console room. Now, I know it constantly changed throughout like the entire 60s run. It probably changed about 4 times per serial, to be honest, if we're being realistic about this. But yeah, generally I'm counting the first and second Doctor's TARDIS as one sort of basic design, at least. I know it changed in a lot of smaller ways throughout the 60s stories, but generally it kind of remained the same. In season 1 in particular, especially in the Edge of Destruction, one of my favourite things about that little 2-part story from the beginning of season 1 is just how, well, obviously the whole thing is set inside the TARDIS, so you get to see a lot of the little nooks and crannies, and you know, it has a lot of like appliances and stuff in the original TARDIS that they kind of lost over the years, like as the room with like the folded down beds, they're pretty cool. The food machine's a really nice addition. There's a little room off to the side with a little sofa in and everything, and another little room, there's just rooms going everywhere. The fault locator, that's something I wish they'd bring back. That was a nice addition that got phased out after like 2 seasons. So one of the reasons I like season 1 so much is just how like homely feeling the TARDIS is. You know, it actually feels like a proper like home base sort of thing, not the shop, but you get the idea. Like, as well as being the time-space machine, it's also the HQ for the characters, and you know, it's like their little home away from home, Earth/Gallifrey. It's the closest thing they've got until they can find their way back, so you know. There's just a lot of features from the original TARDIS that I wish they'd bring back someday. That's number 2. And number 1, my favourite TARDIS interior to date, is the 8th Doctor's TARDIS from the TV movies / the Big Finish audios. I actually found out today that this was not the only console room that the 8th Doctor had in his run. In the novels he had a couple different ones as well, but he reverted back to this one, but you know, I've not read any of the ones with the different console room in, so unless Earthworld had a different one, I'm not quite sure where that stands in 8's novel timeline. I'll have to look it up sometime. But this is the one that everyone's going to associate with 8 the most. It's the one used in the TV movie and throughout the whole Big Finish range, I think. Unless he changed it at some point and I haven't got to that point yet, I don't know. This one's just got everything. It's all wooden and Victorian. It's massive. It's massive. Yeah, I just love how it's like it's not just a room for housing the console. It's like a full-on like home for the Doctor. It's literally the TARDIS as a house, like the closest it's ever been to a house, pretty much. Yeah, you've got the console in the middle, which is a lovely console by the way. I love it. It's in this sort of like cage type thing with the pillars. You know what I mean? And you got a little like a living room area with some seats in and some little coffee tables over there. You got some drawers with valuables in over there, a library over there. What more do you want in a TARDIS? If I ever had a TARDIS of my own, this is the interior that I want. So yeah, if you're still watching, that was my entire ranking of the TARDIS interiors from worst to best. Let me know in the comments if you agreed. If you didn't, post your own ranking. That's sort of the thing people do on these videos, isn't it? If you like it, if you enjoy, sub if you haven't already. I don't know if the next video on the channel is going to be another ranking list or whether it'll be something else. We'll see. See what I can come up with. And yeah, anyway, go to the next one. Bye!